Good afternoon, everybody. Afternoon. Here from 19... Well, where's the fun in that? Welcome to Project Cronus, a Pulp Cthulhu adventure here on Grimjack 21502 that spans not only 1933, but also 1915. For those of you just joining us, this group that you see before you, minus one Finney, who is MIA at the moment. Should he pop back in, I will go to a BRB screen. We will reset the cameras and continue with this pulpy adventure. But until then, the three that you see in front of you, Kiana, Summer, and Dawn, are playing characters that existed both in 1915 as a group called Project Cronus, and who have recently been forced into a reunion in 1933. Their older selves are a bit different than their younger selves, but it seems that when we flash back to 1915, the date of their first mission together, and we see 1933, the date of their last mission together, they are intertwined in a way that can't possibly be expressed until we play through it. And with that, I will say this. Someone has asked me, well, if they're alive in 1933, they must survive in 1915. I say thee nay. This is Pulp Cthulhu, and this is my house. 1915 is a timeline that is in flux. Should one of these characters fall in 1915, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, you will see that reflected in 1933. How exactly? Well, this is Cthulhu. It ain't gonna be pretty. So, as we settle back down, I'd like to recap what happened in our first adventure last week. As the group was thrust into a dimension in 1933 that is an in-between place, it has been given the name the Nowhere. And in the Nowhere, it was Aphrodite, played by Summer. It was Hephaestus, played by Kiana. It was Poseidon, played by Dawn. It was Dionysus, played by Finney. And it was Apollo, played by yours truly, Dietrich. And as they all sat and looked at one another, reminiscing in various ways about their experiences of the past, as they looked, it was quite evident that Aphrodite was a much different being than she was in 1915. And as Dietrich was the target of her ire, he quickly, and without much ceremony, pulled his gun out and blew his brains out. Now, still being stuck here, the group wandered about this cavernous place, and they found that it transformed into a wooden-floored building. Outside of this building, instead of the fresh air of whatever place they left, be it New York or other places, instead, it was liquid, as if they were on the deepest part of the deepest trench in the deepest ocean. And they realized that exploration, research, and their own adventurous nature was the only way to escape this place. And as they turned to continue to search, a few of them were transported back to 1915, when much younger versions of themselves gathered aboard the Orient Express on their way to their first mission in Constantinople. And as they pulled out of Paris, they met with one another, spoke, greeted one another for the first time, learned about one another for the first time, and began the first of their adventures, one that would shape all those that came after, including the one in 1933. And as the pleasantries were exchanged between this new group of friends, Dietrich was among them. Everyone was among them. Aphrodite was still human. And as they interacted as humans are wont to do, Barney was met with a strange bit of graffiti on the side wall of the Orient Express, one that depicted creatures in crudely drawn, but creatures nonetheless with snake heads and mandibles and insects, all under the watchful eye of what appeared to be a purple scribbling of the Eye of Providence. And as we sat there, and as this was being processed by Barney, we switched back to 1933, to the Nowhere, where they found another room. They investigated it. It was filled with a cylinder 15 feet tall, filled with black liquid. Above them, 50 feet, was a domed ceiling with the water still present as it kind of ebbed and lapped against the top, depicting nothing of the outside or the exterior of this place. And as they watched, coiled wires came down from this dome, covering the walls with different gauges, some of them as small around as a pinky, some of them as thick as a thigh. And as they went under the floorboards, erupting only to coil and connect with the cylinder. There was a platform atop the cylinder, but whatever was up there couldn't be seen from their current position. So the Olympians, being gods among mortals, walked into this room. Aphrodite, though, held back a bit. And it was just because of that, and it was where we left off, that as she turned and looked, there was Pete, honest Pete Abraham, coiled in a thick gauge of red wiring, unable to speak, unable to move, unable, if things proceed, to live. And ladies and gentlemen, that is where we will pick up. But before we do so, I want you to meet all these people that I've been talking about. And we'll start with the ladies of the hour and Aphrodite. Summer, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really good. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. I've been put in a very awkward situation. But yeah, I'm doing great today. Just ready to get this show on the road, and hopefully Pete doesn't die because of me.
Well, you know what? I usually don't kill people that aren't here to protect themselves, but there's a first time for anything.
I can do that. You don't, but maybe I do.
Summer, this is all. Summer, you make the decision. Pete lives or dies. For Pete's sake, that's White Roller. Let's go over to Don. Don, how are you doing today, brother?
Oh man, I am great. I'm back playing Barney Barnabas Norwood, occultist and soldier. And in 1915, Barney's doing great. He's just finished his magnum opus, overseeing the creation of the Panama Canal. And he's ready for his next adventure, joining Project Cronus. He has a pretty bright outlook on things. Still an admiral in the United States Navy. But in 1933, Barney is not doing so great. It's sort of like his worst nightmare come to life. He's been sucked through time and space with his wife into this terrible, terrible situation. They're miles underground, / wherever they are. That's bad. With the two people that scare him the most in the world. And at least one of them got their brains blown out. So it's looking a little bit better than it was a moment ago, but he hasn't seen Pete get wrapped up in wire yet. So it's about to get worse again.
I mean, yeah. I'd like to sugarcoat it, but this is Cthulhu. It's going to get way worse. Kiana, how's May doing?
Depends on what time you're looking at, Greg. 1915 May is doing okay. She's feeling really awkward and out of place, but she's doing just fine on their first mission. 1933 May is not so great, being taken to this place with her husband Barney, having no idea what's going on, just got reunited with her friend that she sort of abandoned, and has a lot of regret and mixed feelings about also this so basically things are not great for her emotionally, and then it's gonna get worse for us in other ways now that we have living wires happening. This is fine.
Yes, living wires. But I mean, May likes wires. But anyway, the cast asked me, where are we starting? Is it 1933? Is it 1915? What's going on? Well, I'll tell you. And as we start in 1933, and as Pete is wrapped in this cable, this thick gauge of cable, I will let everybody know mechanically what has just happened, as we have had a crit spent by Don as Barney is looking over the area and kind of taking in everything that he can see. But as he's looking over the area, perhaps drawn in more to the scenery than the players on the stage, May had also succeeded in her last roll to look around and kind of gauge everything that was going on. But as those views were directed towards the area and the environment, they're not paying attention to the path behind them. And as Pete gets wrapped up into this coil of serpentine red wiring, it is Aphrodite and Aphrodite alone who bears witness to his struggle. And once again, I don't normally like to do this when a player is absent, but he is wrapped, and so the first thing that must happen to Pete is this. As he takes 7 damage as the coil strengthens around him. It crushes in, cracking ribs, hurting his already wounded leg as the straight shooter gun kind of palsies in his hand as he can no longer grip it, and it falls to the floor. While no one else has seen this, we're going to go ahead and roll a D100 for me, Summer, as this is a situation that is testing Aphrodite's resolve.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so as Aphrodite's resolve is tested here, we are going to have the following go by. As you have 3 people with you, they each give you a bonus to your ability to ward off this type of... I need you to roll a D10.
Yep. I'm sorry, everybody.
Okay.
Oh, God.
That is the number of magic points that you use to fire up your aura. And I want you to roll a D4 as Aphrodite sees this, and she short circuits as emotions flood through the area. So look for a 4.
2.
As you fire, a sense of hate fills both May and Barney as they, whether it is for Dietrich who has passed, whether it is for the situation, surely it is not for each other as they are truly in love. But as this hits you, this wave of absolute hate, I need both of you to roll a power check to see how this is going to play out. May and Barney. Okay, so you two are able to force this down. You're able to just kind of keep it together as this hate boils out of nowhere. And the good thing about this is it causes you to look at your companions. And when you both look back, you see that the source of this hate is evident as Aphrodite, hair swept back almost as if it's being buffeted by winds, as she has energy licking over her entire body. The coat that Pete has given to her has fallen to the ground as she just has this eldritch energy licking and lapping off of her as it's now no longer contained within her corporal form. It's lancing out, and there are small jumps of energy that kind of creep off of her. I need you to roll a 1d3, Summer, and see who your hate takes. 1 May, 2 Barney, 3 Pete. Okay, so Pete, as she turns towards you and focuses in on you, I need you to make an attack against Barney. Summer.
Okay. Against Barney?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that just my attack, from my weapons?
Yep.
Okay.
Let me double check and make sure I have it in there for you. Yep. Okay, so with an extreme hit, she comes forward. I am going to allow Barney the chance to do the following. Barney, you can dodge this as you see her coming. So if you see her coming, you can roll a dodge. The dodge, however, is going to have to be an extreme. You do have 4 crits.
Yeah, I'll crit it.
Okay.
That was one of my crits.
Okay, so with the crit, as you are able to dive out of the way, she comes forward and kind of rakes with her nails as this energy's licking off of the 4 fingers. And as she swipes, Summer, as soon as Aphrodite attacks, it dissipates and the energy kind of recedes as you're able to, with the shattering remains of your mind, you're able to bring them back into some sense of focus that you had before. But this is something that is just boiled over. And Barney, you're on the ground looking up from these wooden planks as she's standing over top of you, and this energy kind of sinks back into her. However, during this exchange, the coils still squeeze. And Pete takes another 5 damage as they begin to restrict and clink together as each segment of the coil seems to pull tighter and lock and pull tighter and lock. And Pete's over there, and May, you're the only one with a good view as you see his face beginning to turn red and then purple as it's very aware he is not breathing.
Cool. Okay, so May just witnessed 2 things happen, essentially. She is definitely panicking, especially after seeing Amy attack Barney. Yeah, she's going. She's gonna call out to Barney, dear, you okay?
I'm fine. Pete, get Pete.
She'll kind of like glance nervously over at Barney, but she'll move over. Do I see where the wires are coming from, Greg?
Yeah, the wire seems to be coming from, like, it erupted from a plank, kind of a loose plank in the floor, and it just must have shot out and wrapped around him. Since you made a spot hidden before, I'll give you this that was successful. You see that this one is a bright red in color, and you don't see, looking around the walls, any other red wires. So wherever this came from, it came from beneath the floor. It's not originating from above and running down.
Okay. Yes, I'm gonna go over there. Just rush over as quickly as I can. Starts coming through the floorboards. Would it be fair for me to say that May probably has stuff that deals with wires in her bag?
Yeah, that's absolutely safe to say, and it's also safe to say that as you saw Aphrodite nearly kill Barney, and now you're staring at a red coil that is crushing Pete to death, a sanity check is due to see
I'm gonna crit that, Greg.
Okie dokie, let's burn through those crits. Love it, love it. Okay, so a crit count for you guys, just so you know. Kiana, Dawn, you're both at 3. Summer, you're at 4. And Finney is at 3. I can't use crits for a player, everybody. He's just going to have to accept his fate. We will see how everything goes. Yeah, so you're able to kind of, once again, keep your mind focused as you look at this May. You have one action before we begin. We go over to Aphrodite and Barney.
She's going to pull out her wire cutters that she has and is just going to try to cut these wires.
Okay, the gauge on this is probably about 6 to 8 inches in diameter. So this isn't a thin wire, but this is almost like heavy, like telephone cable or transatlantic type of cable.
Yeah, okay. have anything other that's sharp. And do I see, like you were describing, that seems like it's kind of locking in on Pete? Is there anything that's particularly doing that on the wire itself?
It looks like the wire is almost like an earthworm, like it has like ridges and segments to it, and it seems that as it slips, it's kind of catching in its own grooves, and so it'll move through a length and kind of click together as it's just pressing and dropping into these grooves and continuing this crush on Pete.
Okay. I mean, and how? So it's just around him. Had it lifted him up at all? Like, is he still on the ground?
Yeah, he's off the ground right now.
Oh, great. Okay. Okay. I am going to. I'm just gonna see if I can pull this wire down towards me, or at least just hold on to it. Just try to stop it from coiling more, essentially.
Okay, so you're going to try to halt the process of the choke. And as you do that, as soon as you begin to manipulate the wire itself, you feel something explode around your feet as a second wire creeps up and begins to wrap May as it's going up. What I need from you, May, is I need a strength check. It's going to be an opposed strength check with an assumed roll of a 75%.
Oh boy.
It fails, so you have a chance here to... Okay, so it coils around you, May, but you get your arms up against your chest in time. You are coiled and trapped. Barney, Aphrodite, if you guys are cognizant enough, as this second coil comes up, along the length of the coil, it seems to spell out Isreaver, but you can't tell real well. It kind of moves around for a second. And as May gets her hands up, you're able to protect yourself from the crush, but you are still captured. You feel that if you were to fail one of these strength checks, it might be bad. And so we cut back now to Aphrodite, and we cut to Barney, knowing that as soon as you two make an action, something else is going to happen to the two that are captured.
So Barney has just dived out of the way, and he's hit the ground, and he's rolled a couple of times, and he's pushing up a little slow. He's old, he's out of shape. He doesn't dive as well as he used to. And his eyes are flickering back and forth between May and Aphrodite. And he, at a glance, he's just trying to get an idea of like what is on Aphrodite's face right now that this energy's receded into her.
She looks, I would say, exhausted, and a little bit confused. She seems like she's trying to regain her composure, like her eyes are closed and she's just kind of shaking and breathing really deeply, trying to keep whatever keeps trying to get out of her under control. It's like she's not looking at you anymore.
His left hand shaking, he pulls a Ronson lighter, think like an older, bulkier version of a Zippo lighter, out of his pocket in one hand, and he says, easy, Aphrodite, easy. And then he's gonna spin towards May and that new coil that's wrapping around her and try to draw his shotgun out from inside his coat and take a blast at the piece of the wire that is closest to the ground. Like he's basically trying to blow it away from itself, like blow it in half so that he can free May.
Okay. A couple things are going to happen here as Barney, this is your first moment to look at the fact that one of your companions, Aphrodite, just tried to kill you, and now not only is Pete wrapped into this coil of eldritch whatever, but now May is too. So I'm going to need you to make a sanity check.
All right. His favorite kind of check. It's a success.
Okay, so with the success, you don't take any loss. However, as gifted creatures and boons, and yes, Reaver, a cable is a creature, I would like everybody around here, with the exception of Aphrodite, and we'll make sure that Pete does this when he comes back, I need May to roll a d10, and I need Barney to roll a d10, the result of which is your immediate sanity loss.
Oh, gee. 6.
So with a 6 and with an 8, you both lose that corresponding sanity, and both of you are also Cthulhu players, and both of you also know that this is a temporary insanity. The temporary insanity is an easy one this time. You are scared to death of the creature in front of you. Aphrodite, I need you to roll a D100.
You know, I love it.
Nice. So as you're able to pull yourself back and you feel this wave of horror go over you, that is more comforting to you than the normalcy of the situation before, of the social nature of the situation before. And so you are able to keep your powers in check. But as you're standing there now, Barney, you run up and you want to basically see where the cable comes up, put the shotgun against it and fire, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I want to have a not like point blank, but like a step back.
Okay. So as you go in to do that, I will let you know the following. It is whipping around.
Okay.
And moving. I will need a shotgun attack from you, but it must be a hard or an extreme to avoid other things.
Yeah, I'll crit it.
Okay.
I'll use one of my crits on this.
Okay, so with that crit, as it comes off the board, that's not you. That's not you either. That's not you. There you are. As it comes off the board, you're able to take a shot. Roll me 2d6 as you fire into this creature. And you get to double this because it's a crit.
Okay. 15.
Okay, so you fire, and exactly what you wanted to happen happens as the wire shatters and splits into fragments and shards. As the shotgun takes it right from the bottom, you see kind of the stump in the floor wiggling and writhing, kind of suck back in underneath the floorboards. But as it shoots, it seems to free May, but it does nothing for Pete as you bear witness to him still struggling. Summer, Aphrodite has something that she can do, or she can choose not to if she'd like.
Okay. Yeah, I feel bad because I don't think she's kind of out of it right now. And I don't know that she would have it enough in her right mind to actually like go out of her way to help them. But what she does do is open her eyes and starts walking with like some semblance of purpose towards the pillar with the column with the black water or the black goo, whatever it is.
Right.
And start to climb those stairs to get to the top.
Okay, so you begin to take to the top. We will allow you to give me 1 second to see what other hell's been unleashed.
God.
Excellent. So I have 2 crits that I can give out. Thank you very much, Reaver. I'll see if maybe I'll just give them to myself. I don't know. I'm feeling awfully selfish today. We will see exactly how that breaks down, but thank you much, brother. I appreciate it. Okay, so as you climb, we'll allow you to get to the top as Aphrodite can move pretty quickly when she wants to. And as you spiral up the crude yet sturdy steps, you get to the top and you see what looks like a control panel that has wiring itself leading into the liquid. The liquid, now that you're up top, doesn't look like it's like syrupy or viscous. It seems like it's probably a light fluid, much like water, the consistency of water, but it is opaque when you get up here and you look down into it. Yeah, you're right, guys. Sometimes you got to treat yourself, and I think I'm going to treat myself. We'll see. Pete takes another point of damage as a link crunches shut. That's a total of 13 for my boy, as Pete is not breathing at this point. And May, you're still wrapped up in the remnants of the red wire, but you are free. What would the two of you like to do?
Yeah, May is just pushing off the rest of this wiring off of her.
Barney's helping to try to get it off of her. You all right? Did it hurt you?
I'm fine. I managed to shield my chest in time. And she looks over at Pete. It's not... You have to do something, I think.
What do we do? And he looks up and takes a look at the wires. How high is Pete up off the ground now?
Pete is almost 10 feet off the ground. Like his boots are 10 feet off, or his shoes are 10 feet off the ground. So he's getting up there. It seems like it's extending with each round, like maybe another 1.5 feet, 2 feet come out as it's growing, as it's kind of lifting Pete out of your reach.
Do you have one of those doodads or one of those things that you know, the things from the workshop?
And she kind of, I didn't bring much that would affect wires. Unless, what type of casing is around these wires, Greg?
The wires themselves, you're not really sure. It seems to be some type of like a rubber substance, not necessarily insulation of any kind. It doesn't look like it's like a polymer backing or anything, but it's definitely not naked wire. It's not like it's just the metal of the wire itself. There's like a membrane around it. We'll go with membrane.
If I can get to the metal, maybe. And she pulls out her glove and baton. That way I can search this and not affect Pete, maybe.
You got this. Where did Aphrodite go?
May kind of very quickly looks where...
I'm assuming that neither of you took your full attention away from her.
No.
So you at least saw in the direction she went. It takes you a second. No spot hidden roll required, as she is standing atop the cylinder.
What is she doing?
I don't know. But let's get Pete out of here, and then let's lose her.
May looks like she's going to say something, but she doesn't. Okay. Great. I want to cut at least through the casing. Not necessarily through the wire. Want to get to the metal. I'm assuming that's underneath this casing, Greg.
Sure. Okay, so you want to cut through the membrane?
Yes.
We're going with membrane?
Yeah.
Okay, what are you going to use to do that?
Wire cutters, simply. What I have.
Okay.
I don't have anything else sharp.
I'll allow you to grab a bit of it and pinch. How's that? So
Sure.
what I'd like you to do is I want you to roll a mechanical repair roll here.
All right.
And let me just say, same thing I told Barney, hard or extreme is preferable.
Okay. Well, I'm handy, so let's see how this goes.
Okay, so with handy, you get to roll with advantage, the second one being an extreme. As you cut through, you see a surge that probably would have hit you had it not been stopped by your glove. A surge of some type of feedback. We're going to go with feedback. We went with membrane. We're going to go with feedback. As the
Okay.
feedback comes through and as you squeeze, you see the electricity go up and almost touch Pete, but it disperses before it gets the length of the coil and the depth at which you cut kind of made the surge dissipate before it actually reached Pete. Now that you have this open, you can see that it is a coil of wires in here, but there appears to be a larger wire in the center that's exposed as it's kind of wriggling and writhing around, and that in and of itself looks more like a tube.
Okay.
What's in the tube? Like, is it a transparent tube?
Are you there?
Yeah, he's with he's wherever May is. He's with
Okay.
May.
I tell you what, roll me a spot hidden. This is all taking place quickly as Pete is going to be crushed here in a second.
Nah, fail.
Yeah, you see the tube, but you can't make out what's in the tube. It may be another, casing around some polymers or some wire or something. You're not sure. May, you do identify it though. Barney, you have an action here. What would you like to do?
How far away is the tube?
It's right in front of you guys but Pete's being lifted into the air as this kind of snake coil of wiring is moving around. May has kind of gotten the membrane off the front, and where it meets the floor, you're able to see this tube kind of in the middle of this wiry mass.
Yeah, recklessly, maybe panicked because Pete just keeps going further and further up. He sees the tube, can't tell what's inside of it. I think Barney thinks that maybe this is a point of vulnerability. He's gonna cock back the shotgun and just blast right at the tube.
Okay, and what we're gonna bring into play right here is a boon that was gifted to you from Katie that just came in, and what the boon is going to essentially do is, at the last minute, when you put that gun against what you think to be the center column of this, you realize that that's probably filled with something, and that this is the main whatever it is of the secondary one that took May into the air. And you pull the trigger, and I'm going to allow you to roll crit damage for this boon, and you're able to move back as acid sprays everywhere with the shotgun blast.
So 19 damage, and he's already pulling back right before he pulls the trigger, and then kind of like with an arm tries to keep the acid from getting on May as well if he can.
Okay, so yeah, with the boon is basically your knowledge, the knowledge of the occult, the knowledge of the things that have twisted and torn Barney's mind in the past, just so happen to save him and May at this point. As you use that knowledge of the shattered soul to fire and move back, and as you do so, you see the floorboards immediately begin to blister and blacken with this very caustic acid as it kind of spurts and sprays from both ends. Pete goes flying and crashes about 10 feet down. The coil around him loosens, but Pete himself is unconscious as he is laying there alive but dinged up. And each side leaks out this acid, and quickly the floorboards are burned through, and you see this bed of wiring underneath that has run from the walls and the dome down under the floor. And when the acid meets this wiring, it runs around it. It does not scar, it does not scorch, it does not pock the metal or the membrane of this wiring. It just simply moves around it to points unknown.
Is Pete in direct harm's way in terms of the acid?
No, he's fallen a good 8 to 10 feet away from this kind of puddle that's forming. He's crumpled and lying on the ground. He's fallen close to his revolver, but he's not moving. He's definitely either by lack of oxygen, the fall, fright, the bump onto something, he is not awake.
Barney looks to May. Should we take him with us, or just leave him here?
We should maybe take him with us. And she glances back over at the column.
Summer, what's Aphrodite doing?
Is this black liquid that same acid that is inside those tubes?
You are unsure. I will allow you to make a relevant check. You tell me what you think would help you discern whether or not this is acid that is spilled out, whether it could be I would take something like a science, like a biology. I would take a chemistry. I would take an extreme or hard spot hidden, just to see if you can kind of...
What if I just put my hair in it?
If you just put your hair in it?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like the practical nature and hair use. So Aphrodite, as you kneel down and drop the hair into the fluid, nothing happens.
Okay, I want to get in.
Okay, you're going to just take a dip?
Yeah.
Okay. So Aphrodite, as you slide into this cylinder, as the two of you, May and Barney, as you guys look from the floor, you realize as soon as Aphrodite's legs slip into the water, where it appeared to be dark and opaque before, you can see kind of the white of her legs as it gets closer to this glass or this transparent material, and you see her lower herself in. You get as deep as you'd like to be. When you get kind of closer to it, it has a bit of a tangy smell to it, almost in many ways like a coppery kind of a penny type of smelly taste. Other than that, though, it doesn't seem to be sticking to you. It's not like it's paint or a stain or it's adhering to your flesh in any way. It's cool too. It's kind of like a room temperature.
Yeah. So I want to go to the bottom and I want to see if there's any connected wires, or maybe I'll just bust out the glass at the bottom.
Okay. So as you float down to the bottom, this is very Shape of Water shit going on here. So as you float down to the bottom, you guys can now see her once again just in silhouette and movement. As you realize that she's a little bit dark. You're able now to realize you could see through the glass in the water, but with her in there, you can tell the darker elements. As her arms kind of move close to the glass, you can see the white go by, and as she drops all the way down, Aphrodite, at the bottom, you feel with your feet a coil of wire that you can only assume is the terminus of the ones that you saw going in from the control panel.
I want to fuck it up.
You want to fuck it up?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how would you like to fuck it up?
I'll just rip it apart with my hands.
Okay, you're going to use your hands. Give me a strength check for me, please.
I'll crit it.
Okay, so super fucking it up is what we're doing here.
Yeah.
Roll me a damage for your attacks that you do. And in fact, I'll help you out a bit here, and we'll see if we can't bump it up.
Okay.
Yeah, roll me. Yeah, let's go ahead and do let's really get gross.
Okay.
And let's have you bite it. We'll do
Cool.
do a 2d8 for me.
Okay. Not great.
Okay, so here's what you guys see outside of the column. As you're getting this movement and you kind of go over to Pete, realize he's alive, and the moments that it takes. At the end of the battle, she was kind of lowering herself in there. And when Aphrodite gets to the bottom, you can't see this, but as soon as this bite occurs, this length of cable brought up, and as she's squatting in there, she opens her mouth, almost impossibly large, and bites down on the wire. And as that happens, a blue light illuminates the entire column, and you see her floating in what looks like almost a milk, like a white water substance. And she is sitting there biting this wire as her own energy kind of licks over and takes control of the machinery. As a machinist and as an electrician, May, you feel the hum of this, whatever it is around you, come to life. But speaking of hums, and as we are sitting now in the Orient Express, and the hum of the train as it rumbles and gently makes its way along the rails of Europe, we cut back to where we were last week, as Barney has just discovered this very odd graffiti on the wall depicting stick figures with snake heads and large insects walking on their hind legs, being observed above by some purple, omniscient eye of providence. It is now 1915. All of the players that you see are reflected in the pictures that we have. They are younger. They are not as wise. But as we look and as we see all that is around here, Barney, you have just discovered this. But more importantly, I believe May and Aphrodite were headed back to... May wanted to find someplace quiet to do her work. Aphrodite, were you accompanying her back to the staterooms?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So as you all go back into the back, when you walk into the secondary cars and you get kind of further away from the social car, it gets quieter as people, some of the older passengers, some of the younger passengers are moving to take move and retire for the evening. And the staterooms are abuzz as you see several of the stewards who are converting the staterooms from... Normally it's a chair, 2 chairs and a bench, and you see them kind of pull the benches and the sofas away and reveal like a queen size bed. They pull a section of the wall down, revealing a top bunk bed, and everything is pristine. The sheets are pressed and placed. There are flowers that are tended to and switched out from morning flowers to evening flowers, as everything has a purpose and a place here on the Orient Express. And it is humming, just as the vibrations of the Orient herself are kind of lulling people into the motion of comfort. Back here, the stewards, the children of the Orient, are making sure that the passengers are well. And as you get further away, it gets quieter, and you are less in the company of humans and more in the company of the train itself. You eventually get to your rooms, a bank of 3 that are lined up there together. You may take them in whatever order you wish. There was no rhyme nor reason to how they were gifted to you all, so one person would have a room to themselves, the other 2 would have to share. Whatever you guys would like to do, but you are back at the bank of rooms assigned to you by Project Cronus.
Mimi's just going around and looking in all of them to see which one she thinks is the nicest. But she probably leads May over to one of the like double rooms that they would have to share. And she kind of pokes her head inside and says, "Well, would you want to room with me?"
I wouldn't mind that if you're all right with that.
I mean, it's either me or one of the boys, so.
That's true. Yes. Let's sure. Share a room.
And she goes in and she like flops down on one of the beds.
It's incredibly elegant. It has everything that was explained, but they've already passed through this area as you've had the turn down service gifted to your stateroom. It's prepared and ready for you. I'd like you both to roll spot hiddens for me, please. Okay, Kiana, as May walks in, and Mimi flops on the bed, you go around and the state doors kind of close on a track behind you. Like when you open them and go in, you can't kind of leave them open unless they're tied open. And during the train's operation, the only people that would do that would be the stewards when they were cleaning it. So as you release it, it kind of goes back and closes. But as it closes, you notice that there is a drip from the handle onto the carpeting and wood of the floor. And you see like an inky black drop off of the slide handle into the interior of the stateroom. It seems to be covering the handle that you would use to exit.
May definitely May definitely kind of crouches down and peers at it, and takes the handkerchief, or what might have been a nice handkerchief at some point, but has black grease stains on it, and she's gonna kind of wipe at it.
It is very difficult to remove it from the surface, and it immediately stains the handkerchief as you touch it. It begins to soak through the handkerchief, even like the hardier material of the handkerchief gives way almost immediately as you can see the stain on the touched side soak through and bleed through to the opposite. Summer, Mimi would see this as well, as Aphrodite, or the woman that will be Aphrodite, recognizes the darkness that is now that May has found on this handle.
Yeah, she sits up and kind of tips her head to the side watching, and she says, What is it?
I'm not sure. It definitely doesn't seem usual.
Should we call somebody?
I mean, we can. I don't. It doesn't seem to be coming from the handle. There's no other source. Okay, great.
It doesn't seem to be anywhere else because the handle is metal, and it's one of those lever handles that's also inset into the door. It's difficult to see if it's up in kind of like the handle well of the door. If you had some light, you might be able to like shine it and look up around in there. But right now, the ambient light of the Orient itself is not providing you with any type of further information. It doesn't seem to be anywhere else on the door or above the door. It seems to either be on the handle or recessed in that little area where the handle goes in.
Okay. Says, it may just be a stain, a leak, something. I don't know if it's worth bothering somebody about it.
I mean, it's their job, right?
I mean, yes, but they have to do all sorts of other things on the train, and I'll be damned if I can't do something about it myself.
Well, all right, if you say so.
Yeah, May's just gonna get one of her other like grease cloths and just try to like clean this off as much as you can.
Sure. Does she touch it? I mean, as she's cleaning it all off, does she touch the handle, or does she touch the substance, or, that's
Not
dripped
with
to the floor?
bare hands, unless she has to, Greg.
Okay. I'm just asking. It's my job to ask. I provide color and narration. That's my only job. It's why I'm here, I think. So you're gingerly wiping this off. It's taking some time. The door is closed. And it is, you would have to actually like use it to unlatch it and then open the door, which would require touching the door handle, but I'll let you clean it off if you'd like. It'll take you probably about 30 minutes to make sure that, like, when you finally kind of swipe the handkerchief, it's not black anymore when it comes away from the... You're pretty sure it's clean. I'll let you roll a spot hidden if you want to make, like, super sure it's clean. Yeah, you're pretty sure it's clean.
Okay.
You're feeling good about it. It has stained at least 2 of your handkerchiefs. I mean, like, jet black.
Okay.
To the point where you're kind of like, where's the waste basket? I want to drop it.
Yeah, so she'll deal with that. Says, kind of stand up again. Says, didn't need anyone else for that.
Yeah, Mimi's just been watching and smoking, just like not helping at all.
You have the ability to leave or stay now, if you'd like, without having to touch the black substance on the door.
Well, I know you said you handled it, but we should still tell someone if it comes back. Maybe, I don't know what it was, but...
That's fair. Hopefully just this one time. And she'll kind of like, she'll go back to her bag, which has been open to get all the tools that she used, and just kind of start unpacking to whatever table is here.
Yeah, there's like a little kind of like circular moon table by the outside window. It has flowers on it, but you can easily kind of conscript that for maze purposes.
Yeah, she's definitely just kind of, she took the flowers and just put it on the ground next to the table and just kind of started pulling everything out. And Mimi will see like a whole bunch of tools, some which are easily recognizable as, small hammers, wrenches. Others are a little odder. They kind of look like they've been put together out of other tools. Before she put anything, she put down a grease cloth and then put all these things down.
Mimi walks over and kind of looks at all of it, and she's like, "Is this all you brought?"
I have a change of my more comfortable clothes, but this is all I really need.
Mimi like kind of glances over at her like several suitcases full of clothes.
Right, and Summer, what Mimi would know is that people that carry a crap ton of luggage will be given a secondary place in each car where they can go and like visit their luggage and pull it out when they need it. It's in kind of like cargo netted racks in the Orient. But anything that you require, Karim will be able to get for you. He's your steward that will presumably be in the state car for the majority of the trip. But you have anything you need, you have.
Well, you're a little bit smaller than me, but if you ever need something else to wear, I could lend you something.
I should be fine. Not one for fancy clothes anyways. I just get them dirty.
I think it'll be pretty hard to get it dirty here.
And she kind of glances over her at all of the things on the table and says, yeah. My line of work tends to involve things that dirty clothes.
I understand. Well, just an open invitation.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
I'm getting kind of hungry.
Yeah. Do you want to get food or something then?
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I don't really know how that works around here.
I think they just have a food car.
Right. Okay. Let me just unpack a couple more. And she pulls out a couple of devices. So she pulls out the lockpick device that you saw. And she also pulls out a couple of like gears and stuff. And finally she pulls out what looks like to be a glove. but there's a lot of stuff attached to it. Bits of metal, wiring, very bulky. As she kind of puts that down.
Yeah, she looks like skeptical a little bit, but she doesn't say anything about it.
And she looks at the glove, and then she kind of may put it back in her bag. She says, I know this is a safe place, but this is my pet project, and I'd rather keep an eye on it.
Well, it doesn't bother me if you just bring it with us.
Yeah, I hope most people think that. And she just puts it away and kind of brushes down her dress. Food car, then, I guess?
Yeah, I'm starving. Let's go.
I will open the door, Greg.
Okay, you sure?
Yes.
Okay,
We're just going to stay in here the whole time.
Right. Okay, so as you open the door and slide it open, I'd like you to make a dex check for me, please.
Cool. Fuck. Okay.
Not expecting to feel the ice cold fluid that runs over the top of your shoes, over your ankles, and almost damn near up mid calf as this torrent of fluid rushes from a bucket that was placed on the outside of the door. And as it rushes in and immediately sinks and drips into the floorboards and the carpet of your room, sloshing back out with a rock on the Orient Express into the hallway, you hear a high-pitched giggle coming from the far end that you did not enter from, further north in the train. And as you look up, a child is holding his stomach and rocking back and forth as you now are mid-shin in a trap prepared for ice water, and you have been hit. You now realize that the black substance on the door handle was ink, as the boy has an empty inkwell beside him and cackles upon seeing that at least one of his tricks took purchase. Let's cut back to the social car as Barney is kneeling down looking at this scrawled graffiti. Barney, is there anything you'd like to do as you are looking at this?
So Barney's got a good memory for things like this that could be construed occult. Would he recognize any of the symbology in place beyond like just a general, this reminds me of ancient Rome or anything like that?
There's nothing that would pop out. However, I will allow you to take an occult roll, and this occult roll will be something that we need to remember and carry.
Okay. Let's see here. Just a regular success.
Okay, so yeah, we had a regular success on that occult roll. We will... Yeah, nothing. It's so generic in the way that it's kind of drawn and put together. It doesn't scream anything. It reminds you of several things and nothing. You know, it's a stick figure. It could remind you. You could read a lot into that. And with Barney's mind, it's definitely something that he could feel himself doing. I got to look at this in a linear pattern and see if anything pops out and not try to force some type of definition or interpretation. So what we'll do is with that occult roll, you kind of keep that image in mind. You know, the distance between the figures, just, looking at everything and not just the surface drawings, so you're able to kind of store that away a bit.
So he won't spend too long examining it because he doesn't really want to draw attention to himself as much as possible. and he'll come back up. He's got the cigarette that he dropped down before, and he'll sort of look around. So Pete's drinking, or was drinking last time I saw him, and the two ladies have gone off into the back.
Correct.
And what about Joseph Dietrich?
Joe is just standing there, still kind of looking out the rolling window of the observation car, watching Europe as it kind of a darkened Europe as it goes by. His image is now reflected in the glass as the light source, the predominant light source, is from the interior of the car as opposed to before when it was outside.
Barney will approach Joseph Dietrich and casually, cigarette in hand, he'll say, Mr. Dietrich, do you have a pad of paper, a pen, or a pencil on you by chance?
I does not have a pad of paper, but here. And he pulls out a fountain pen.
Fountain pen. He said, I'm going to, I have to go write something down. I'll bring this back to you, though, and I want to show you something when I do.
It sounds fine to me. You can keep the pen for as long as you need.
Oh, well, thank you. And he's going to look around. He considers asking one of the helpers, one of the workers of the train, but instead he is going to go looking for the girls, I think. Did he see which way they headed off?
Yeah, you would have known that they went deeper into the train towards the state cars.
Okay. So he'll take the pen and he'll head off that way, just trying to keep a general eye out to see if he can spot where they are, and being a little bit behind them. If he has to like check all the doors, like he'll knock on doors and he'll say, Miranda, Mae Young, are you in there? Oh, sorry. And he'll go to the next door. So it probably takes him a while, but he will start knocking on doors until he can find them.
Yeah, there are many interesting situations where an older couple opens up and they're already, it's only about 7, but they are like literally like nightshirt, cap, ready to sleep. What do you need? And then, you apologize. One of them opens up and there is a middle-aged woman who's wearing like an off-the-shoulder type of nightgown. And when she sees you, she kind of leans in the doorway. Are you sure you're not in the right place? And as you excuse yourself. Would you like to come in?
No, thank you. But you have a great night.
Are you sure?
You'll just turn. You'll turn awkwardly and just keep going.
She puts her head out. I have gin.
He doesn't like gin. It kind of in the back of his throat.
Okay, so as you make it finally down towards the end, let's cut back to May and Mimi. The two of you are heading towards the dining car, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the dining car is going to be past the social car. It's used to kind of split up. The social car is predominantly used for the men folk as they go down and smoke their cigars and everything. And the dining car is a little bit removed so you can go and eat in comfort. And especially at this kind of launching ceremony, they want to keep the party that is the, embarkation type of thing separate from just normal dinner. So you guys are moving in the opposite direction, away from where Pete and Joe and Barney would be and away from your staterooms. So as you proceed to walk down that area, the boy disappears by the time you get there, kind of like seeing you heading his way. He disappears and you kind of hear the loud, as the doors open between the cars, and like the, and then it closes. And by the time you get up to where he was, he is in the wind. So,
yeah. So Mimi would notice that like May's dress is soaked, like in the bottom part, because she probably got all the water because she went first.
Yeah,
Are you
Mimi's
are you sure
perfect.
you don't need another dress? We can stop by and I could get you one.
Um,
I'm gonna write a strongly worded letter to that little boy's mother.
it's not necessary, I don't think, to write a letter to the boy's mother. It's just having fun, I'm sure.
Well, it wasn't fun for us.
And she kind of looked down and says, I feel like
We could get you a real nice dress.
I'm just imagining big puppy eyes from
Yeah.
Mimi. Do you have anything that's toned down?
Oh, sure,
Simple.
honey. But I can find something for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So she would try and find somebody to help her like get all of her luggage.
Oh boy.
You would know that there is a steward station that you
Mhm.
guys passed on your way in back towards the social car. So, as May I'm assuming is just kind of trying to wring out her shoes and dry up. You go down to the steward station, and as you kind of step into there's a curtain that just kind of hangs there like a heavy fabric, and as you move and walk into it, everything goes black as Mimi can no longer hear the sounds of the Orient Express. And you hear, "This path destroys you."
I'm sorry.
"This path that you are on, it will destroy you."
And I can't see anything.
Total blackness.
I'm sorry. Who am I speaking to?
Someone that does not wish to see you destroyed.
What do you mean destroyed?
This group, following them, will destroy you.
So what am I supposed to do about it?
Leave them. Save yourself.
All right.
You're going to stay. You don't believe me.
Well, I'm just having a hard time understanding. These people seem real nice.
They will destroy you.
Well, we'll just play it by ear. Wait and see.
If you finish this journey with them, it will be too late.
All right, honey, I'll keep that in mind.
You owe them nothing.
I'm sorry. Could you just leave me alone, please?
I wish I could.
I'm big girl. I'll figure it out for myself.
They're not your family, Mimi.
I don't have a family.
Don't mistake them for one. You will if you stay with them.
Well, all right. Okay.
I'm going to need you to agree.
I'm not going to agree to that.
Then and you will be destroyed.
Well, so be it then.
You feel something take your hand. It's very cold. There are things worse than death, Mimi.
I'll be all right.
I will return. And with that, a gung gung gung. And as you kind of come to in the steward station, which is very well lit, you are holding around your hand the neck of a chilled champagne bottle, and you see that is the source of the cold that has crept into your limb.
Is May with me?
She's back at the stateroom, drying herself out.
She just stands there for a really long moment and just kind of catches her breath and tries to wrap her head around what just happened. She's like wondering if she hallucinated or like fell unconscious or something.
It's at that point that as you're standing there, the door opens to the car, and you hear that and a large figure is standing there in the right outside of the drawn curtain of the steward station, and you see Barney.
Oh, hello.
Oh, Miranda. Hi. But do you have, by chance, a piece of paper or a Padlet on you? Something I could write onto?
Well, I don't have one on me, but May probably has one. She's got just a bunch of gadgets, but it's Mimi, not Miranda. Sorry.
Mimi. Mimi. Did you see which way May went by chance?
Oh, she's drying herself off. We're going to get her a change of clothes. She's in the stateroom.
Oh, well, then I'll just wait. Do you mind if I wait with you?
Oh, that's fine.
But how are you enjoying the train ride so far?
I like it so far. Well, I mean, there's this bratty little kid somewhere running around that's playing tricks on people, but other than that,
Yes, I can't imagine myself ever having a kid. It's just too much noise, you know?
I like them. I mean, they're a little bit of trouble, but I think in the long run, it's worth it.
You know, I was wondering, and he's waving the fountain pen now. And I don't want to pry too much, but we're going to be working on this project together. What is it exactly? What's your background? Where do you fit into our work?
She kind of like laughs for a second, and she says, I've been wondering that myself recently. You all seem like highly intelligent, trained, well-bred people, and well, that's not exactly me. So I'm not sure yet.
Breeding has nothing to do with it, but surely you must have a skill set or something that got the attention of Project Cronus. It's brought you here.
Summer, roll a charm roll.
Okay.
You're beginning to get an idea, Barney.
Okay. Well, in any case, I'm glad to get the chance to work with you. Everyone on the team seems real nice so far.
Yeah, so far, I really like May. She's a bit odd, but I think she'll come around. Maybe she's just uncomfortable being around people. I can't really tell.
Oh, I actually have not gotten the chance to speak with her yet, but I did notice that she seems like she's got a good eye. She's observant, and I imagine where we're going, that's going to be useful.
I'd say so. She's an inventor, I think. She makes things. She had a bunch of odd little contraptions back in our room, so
Oh, I'd like to see those.
I'm sure she'd show them to you if you asked her.
No, maybe I will. Maybe I will.
So we're with like my luggage, right?
You're actually in the steward station. The luggage would be
yeah.
right beside, but there doesn't seem to be anybody here at this moment to help you. You know that Karim was left in the social car with the other stewards at the station. I'm sure they'll be along directly, as it just seems that you kind of caught them in between preparations as the one group is going through, still doing turn-down service.
Mm-hmm.
But you can easily get to your luggage and get stuff if you need it.
Yeah, I think she would like basically like gesture that she's gonna go get a new dress for May. And she's like, well, I don't know if you know anything about fashion, but you can help me pick one out if you like.
Oh, no, that's all right. I'll just I'll step outside. I'll have a smoke, and you know, once you're done in there, you know, if you just let May know, or even you know, if she's busy, just bring me. I just really just need something to write down on, and I don't want to ask. You know, I don't want to bother any of these people.
I'm sure it'd be fine if she had everything like kind of laid out on her bed. So I think it'd be fine if you went back to our room and you could just grab a notebook.
Are you sure? I wouldn't want to impose.
I don't have anything to hide.
Okay. Well, thank you. Yeah, I'll follow you back.
Yeah. So she'd go like show him the way to the room and hopefully find a pad of paper or something.
Yeah, and so as the three of you kind of congregate at the slightly soggy entranceway to the stateroom, we're going to cut back to 1933.
Oh.
In the nowhere, as you're all standing there and you see the light illuminate inside the cylinder as the woman that you knew as Mimi bites down on this cable, and you see her energy floating around her. And May, in the back of your mind, you hear a voice, innocent and pure before its destruction, as from the past is whispered, "Is that all you brought?"
I kind of. What is she? And so when that energy went off, pretty much things seemed to activate. Okay.
And as everything lit up, both of you roll spot hidden for me. And Summer, I'm going to allow you to roll one too, as you are, though you're inside a light bulb, you still have vision that can compensate.
Extreme success.
Okay, Dawn, Barney sees this. Kiana May kind of follows Barney's gaze to match up what she sees, but with the hum of energy and the light that is flooded out of the cylinder, you realize that the far wall, the one that you guys haven't had a chance to investigate yet, is entirely glass. And now it's no longer in shadow, as the wiring that has come down that part of the area seems to have pulled almost like theater or stage curtains as it's opened, and there is glass with that inky darkness, that bluish hue of fluid behind it, again appearing as if you're on some deep ocean depth. But unlike the other room or the other window that you looked out of, there seems to be something on the other side of this glass. And Barney, it looks like a man.
How far away is the glass from us?
About 30 feet.
Is it dark? Can I not make out who the man is or what he looks like from here?
The man seems to be sitting or kneeling on we'll go with the ocean bottom, about 5 feet beyond the glass. So he is on the ocean floor, but the head is down and the hair's kind of waving around it, suspended by the fluid upon which he is existing. You cannot make out the features, though.
There's a lot of sensory stuff going on right now. Pete's laying there on the floor. Aphrodite is having lunch on that wire. There's the guy in the ocean, and Barney looks to May. And he says, "You see what she is now. You see what she's become. We gotta grab Pete, and we just gotta go. We just gotta. We gotta get out of here. There has to be a way out."
Where do we go? Where this was supposed to be where we were supposed to go.
I thought, well, I didn't think it was going to be like this, but we're still alive. If we're still alive, then there's still a chance for us. But I don't think there's a chance for us if we spend too much time here. He's already he's gone over and he's trying to pick up Pete but Pete's a pretty heavy guy, right?
Pete is, and he is dead weight right now. So you can definitely move him. Between the two of you, you can fireman's carry him. You just can't do it fast,
No. Are there any like doors or anything that we haven't gone through? We came through a big door into this chamber, and then on the other side there's the glass wall with a creepy guy out on the ocean bottom. But are there any other doors or anything?
You'd have to check. None that appear just out in the open. But once again, you saw that these wires kind of pulled away from the wall, revealing this glass. So if that theory continues, you have several blank walls that are currently filled with wires that could have something behind it potentially, but nothing you can see.
How do we get these other wires to pull back? Maybe there's another way out of here.
May's gonna take a look, see if there's any mechanisms, anything, even a control panel or something that.
It's funny you should mention that. With the light as it is illuminated from the cylinder, you can see now at the top of the platform that enters in, there is what appears to be some type of panel. Summer, what's Aphrodite doing chilling out at the bottom of the cylinder?
Oh, yeah, just hanging out. No, she's just trying to basically disconnect everything, trying to literally just ruin everything at the bottom here.
Okay. As you're throwing your weight into and your raw strength into these wires, it feels almost as if you are attacking a sponge. And as you bite down and tear pieces off, when you go to kind of tear into it again, you feel as if the bite you've just taken is back. As you run your hands along and rent and rip and gouge and take your nails beneath the membrane of the wires and kind of pull along them. None of these wires are the same as the red ones that encompassed both May and Pete. And it seems that whatever damage you're doing to them is somehow being repaired at a remarkable rate.
How thick is the glass?
You don't know.
Can I try and break it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
That'd be fun.
You're gonna strength it, just like a straight, are you gonna attack? Are you gonna try to kick, or you tell me. How would you
Yeah,
like to?
all of the above. I'm going to probably what she would do is like put her back up against one wall and try and like kick through the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
Through the cylinder.
She would have to basically. It's kind of a long one and or like a wide. Mimi's
Oh
not
yeah.
necessarily that tall, but you could easily. What I'll have you do is you could kind of like press with the hands and push your legs into the side wall and kind of piston it if you'd like to.
Yeah. That's fun.
Okay. Alrighty. Go ahead and as this is glass that you can't possibly not hit, go ahead and roll me that 2d8 again to see what you do.
Okay.
Okay, so with 6, May and Barney, as you guys are like carrying Pete away from the acid spill, you hear this boom. And especially Barney, who is a naval man and very familiar with the sound of strikes that are coming from one pressurized environment to another, you know exactly that she's either fighting against what's inside there, but you don't see that she's wrapped up because you guys can see her clearly now as she's in there, and you realize she's striking the glass inside.
Oh shit, she's gonna kill us. We gotta go.
And May's kind of, why? What is she doing?
I don't know what she's thinking. I don't know. Her brain might not even be human anymore. It might be something else.
Roll another 2d8 for me, Summer, as you are continuing your piston. Boom! Again, it rocks, and this time you hear something. Doesn't sound like a crack. It sounds as if a seal has been broken somewhere. You know, it's almost like a peeling, almost like someone has just dug their fingers into the flesh or the skin of an orange and ripped it away from the meat. So you hear that sound as it kind of pulls open, and there's a whisper of gas from somewhere as whatever has been broken is as it's beginning to invade your environment.
Barney drops Pete. Reaches a hand for May.
Everybody roll a listen check for me.
Barely a success.
Okay, so this time, as before with the spot hidden, as Barney kind of picked out what had gone on and May tracked, being so accustomed to walking the earth side by side with her partner, she tracked it. This time, when May listens, it takes Barney a second to realize she's listening for something, does the same, and you hear May a second. And Barney, you identify this as also a knock from one pressurized environment to the other, but it's not coming from the cylinder. And as you look over, you see the man standing, his hand against the glass as he pounds it again. And when he looks up, you see Jack Kilgrave.
Jack? That's... May, do you see him?
Oh my god.
Wait. Torn, because he wants to help Jack, or at least understand what's happening with Jack, but still worried that Aphrodite is gonna drown them in acid. Barney takes a chance and he goes towards the vat, towards the glass cylinder that Aphrodite's inside, and he puts up both hands against it. And he doesn't know if she can hear him, but he says, please Please.
I will allow you to hear this if you wish.
I'm too far gone. I'm breaking this.
Roll another 2d8 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you actually see her feet meet as you put your hands up to get her to stop. You see the bare feet of Aphrodite smash against the glass right in front of your face, Barney, as you actually pull back. And with the incredible pound that hits the side of that, you feel the cylinder move about a quarter of an inch toward you, as if she is displacing this immense item, this immense cylinder filled with hundreds, if not thousands, of gallons of whatever this stuff is, and somehow she is moving it. As again, the feet kind of rear back, and you see that she is furiously pounding on this cylinder. You will also notice, as a naval man, she's been down there a couple minutes now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she should have drowned if she were, if she could drown. Any cracks on the glass? Does it seem like there's actually a chance of her breaking through?
It doesn't seem like she can break the whatever this is, this transparent material, but she's moving it. And she has moved it, and you realize now that the sound of the pooling orange was the seal at the bottom of the cylinder from wherever it had been resting, moving that initial kind of crack and drag as she is taking this bad boy with her by sheer force of violence.
Where's the hiss coming from? Can we tell?
Your best guess is from the entire seam at the bottom of this 15-foot cylinder.
Okay, so she's not breaking the glass, but she might be ripping it out and causing something to leak out into the air.
Correct. That is a theory that you can surely run with. May, as this is going on, you, who were the one to initially hear Jack, you hear another as he puts his face against the glass and looks in.
May's kind of just, chaos is happening. This is fine. She is, she's going to, as soon as she sees that, like, Barney's please doesn't do anything, she kind of pulls Barney away, says, what is Jack doing here?
I don't know, but if he's out there and that stuff, he should be drowned, just like she should be drowned.
And she's just gonna go up to the glass where Jack is. Jack.
You can see that his eyes soften as he sees you, and he's trying to say something, but you can't hear it as he's just touching the glass, and he puts his hand up as if inviting you to do it on the opposite side.
May does so.
He just sits there and stares at your hand and just kind of runs his fingers along the outside of the glass. Make a spot hidden check for me, man.
I'm gonna crit this.
You see something, and because the seafloor is so sparse, there's no coral aforementioned in the narrative, no rocks, it's just nothing but this silt and sand. You see what appears to be a very flat tablet that's half exposed about 10 to 20 feet behind Jack Kilgrave's position. And you can tell from here, especially with that crit, that there is writing on it. And I will go so far as to tell you that you know what this writing is. It's Aramaic. Roll 2d8 for me, Summer. Boom! Barney, as you're standing by the cylinder, you see it move a good inch, and something begins to spill out from the bottom as it has moved beyond the pedestal upon which it has perched. And the fluid that is either feeding the inside or from the inside is creeping out onto the floor. Not a lot, but a nice solid stream.
Barney's gonna call out to May. I gotta stop her. I gotta stop her before she kills us. And he's gonna grab a hold of the ladder and start to climb up.
Okay, you can get up to the top easily enough. You can see that it takes a second for Aphrodite to kind of not, brace herself, but she has to get in the best position to kind of flex and blast into the side. And as she's kind of coiling for another spring at the side, you get to the top of the platform and you are looking down on her. Summer, Aphrodite sees him at the top of the platform, and you can see him as well as he can see you.
And he's staring down, and you can see that he's fumbling. He's got the Ronson lighter, and he's fishing around, and he pulls out a cigarette, but his hands are shaking, and it takes him a second to sort of start to set up here.
Okay. May, back with you as you're kind of hearing this behind you, this almost like a church bell of like a dirge, this Jack sees your eyes track behind him, and you see him turn, and as if for the first time, he sees this tablet that's in the sand too. And you see him, he touches the glass again, and he turns around and begins to kind of slowly, and as each of his feet hit the sand, you see like a puff of silt float in the fluid as he's moving closer, and he reaches down and slowly pulls out the tablet. And you see now that it is broken, but there's much more beneath the surface than was left on. It still ends in a jagged stone tear. And he turns around and comes back and turns it around and places it against the glass as his eyes go from you to the side of the tablet. Barney, what would you like to do as May's eyes turn towards the tablet?
Is there any sign that Aphrodite is stopping?
Nope.
So hand shaking, he takes the cigarette and places it between his lips, and he lights his lighter, his Ronson lighter, and the flame that dances up from it, it's not like a normal flame. It's green with a seafoam corona. And when it flickers, it's not like fire, it's more like a wave, a tiny wave. And it brushes the end of his cigarette, which lights up in a spark. And he says the word Chudunga. And he casts a spell, witch word, which reduces basically attempting to remove a sense. And the sense that he would like to try to remove from Aphrodite is heart. Feelings.
Okay. Okay. So how does that go with normally I would at this point do an opposed power check.
Yeah, it's a I have it here. It's an opposed power check for effect.
Okay, and I know that at this point everybody's eyeing up your crits. You cannot use them PvP. So this is a straight roll between Barney versus Aphrodite, opposed power.
And he has advantage for spells.
Right. So that comes into play, but
Okay. 19.
wow. So, for a moment, as you're looking down with the sea foam flame licking from the lighter and then on the tip of the cigarette, as you say these words and cast this down, Aphrodite, as you're looking through the water up towards Poseidon, he says the word and you feel your entire body go numb. And for a moment, you remember that you are Mimi. Back over at May and Jack, as Jack slams the tablet up against the side of the glass, May, you're able to look, and from your studies of Latin and Hebrew, it takes you a moment to understand what the words are that you're looking at. And it comes together quickly because they're familiar words. Because normally the study of Latin and Hebrew are religious in nature, or at least that's the way that they're easiest conveyed because of the plethora of ancient texts and tomes that are based on such things. And you read the following: the gospel according to Pilate. And that is where we will end this episode of Project Cronus.
Everything's fine. Everything's so good, right? Right, guys? Isn't everything great?
Yep.
Pretty good.
Awesome. Yeah, awesome. Good job, guys. I think we just won Cthulhu. I think you guys can
so.
I looked at the scoreboard and it says you guys won. It's a buzzer beater. Anyway, okay, we'll go in reverse order for our outros. Kiana, how are you doing?
Oh, man. Goddamn roller coaster every single time. I love it, though. Going through the emotional ride, so seeing the beginnings of relationships being built and the breakings of relationships. Man. I love this game. I love this cast. I love this story. Dear God. But I can't wait for next week to see what is maybe going on. Maybe. I have no idea. Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
We'll be able to
But
figure it out. Maybe.
yeah.
Okay. Where can we find you,
But in the
Kiana?
meantime, you guys can find me over on Twitter at KianaS, which is probably the best way to chat with me, figure out what I'm doing, because I love talking with everybody. I play in all sorts of places and do all sorts of things. I'm on a podcast called Lady Slaying Dragons, which releases new episodes every Sunday evening. I am on Encounter Roleplay doing some Call of Cthulhu with Greg as my keeper again, which is a lot of fun. 1950s Call of Cthulhu is always fun, except for when my character dies.
Is it?
Greg.
I was going to say, you weren't real happy and having fun last time. So
No!
you're sort of
Thanks,
a liar,
Greg.
Kiana. I'm just going to say you're a bit of a liar. I mean, that's all right, but...
Wow. On Tuesdays, I am over on WebDM playing Starwood Bound, which is 5e Spelljammer fun. Also with Greg, but she's not trying to kill me, so that's actually fun. On Wednesdays, I'm over on Scoticus' channel where I DM One Shot Wonders, which is my series where I get to DM a whole bunch of one-shots with all sorts of people, new setting every month. This upcoming Wednesday is the finale of Ravenloft. It's going to be really fun. Dawn's going to be there. I'm very excited. So I'm going to break some hearts and cause some feels. So I'm excited for that. And as always, you can find me over here on Saturdays playing this crazy time fuckery, punch me in the heart feels game, which I love.
Punch me in the heart. Yes. Dawn, how are you doing, bud?
I'm great. This is a really good session. It says a lot about how scary I'm guessing, I hope you guys are feeling this way too, because I feel it, how scary 1933's setting is, that like it scares me way more than the Orient Express, which like just the name alone. But the fun of the bouncing back and forth is great to play. I love all the characters and the cast. You guys are so great. And I love all of the like little differences that I am seeing in people's characters between the different eras, and in Summer's case, the really big difference between the characters. I'm loving this. I just can't wait for more. Follow me on Twitter at Donathan Fry. I also do a bunch of different games and podcasts and whatnot. This week I'll shout out Summer and we just finished up a huge project, The Blood Plague. We've been working on it for a while. That's with Encounter Roleplay. It's like a 100-page dark fantasy adventure. I'll tweet something about it here, but they're still doing pre-orders if you're interested in grabbing yourself a physical copy. It's a beautiful looking book that Summer's put together, and I'm really, really proud of it. And Ravenloft on Wednesday with Kiana on Scraticus's channel. I'm really looking forward to that. I love playing in Ravenloft, and I haven't had the chance to play a character in Ravenloft in a while, so I can't wait for that.
Nice. I too love me some Ravenloft. That is the best. And The Blood Plague, everybody. With these two behind the wheel, you're going to be driven straight and true. I am looking forward to it myself. And Summer, you're trying to break one of my creature devices. What are you doing?
I'm just having fun, I'm just here to have fun, have a really good time, just break everything that you put in front of me.
I love it.
Today was so much fun. I still am just like on the edge of my seat, like heart still racing from that whole final scene. And I have emotional whiplash going back and forth between these two times. Also, what the fuck in 1915 with that scary vision? Not great. But yeah, today was awesome. I had the best time. These people are incredible, so talented. I just love every second of it. And I love seeing the differences in the characters between 1915 and 1933. I can't wait for more. But yeah, I'm Summer. You can find me on Twitter at Just a Summer Job. My channel here on Twitch is off the table, and we stream Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We just play a shit ton of different games. Tuesdays, I'm on Unmade Gaming's channel playing D&D 5e. We're taking a break and playing some Polaris right now. Saturdays, I am here. And actually this afternoon, I'll be on Anarisis's channel playing some Magical Fury. So I get to basically be Sailor Moon later today. So that's really fun. But yeah, just follow me on Twitter for all the garbage that I do. This is amazing. I can't wait for more.
Awesome. And everybody, just to recap, Summer, Kiana, and Dawn, please follow them all. As they've mentioned here, it's just a little brief greatness that they do on a daily basis. Plus, they're nice people. You need nice in your life because, not to get political, we don't have a lot of it right now. So try to surround yourself with nice people, everyone. As for me, Grimjack21502 on the Twitches and the Twitter. Here on the channel, next Friday, we are going to be starting Conan, Age Undreamed Of from 12 to 2 on Friday, followed by Firefly from 2 to 4 on Friday. Back here from 2 to 4 on Saturday for some more Project Cronus, and on Sunday from 7 to 9 with Project Athena. Oh, wait, next Saturday we will be off for Project Cronus because I have a charity event that I'm doing over at Unmade Gaming. So come over there. I'm playing a dog, I believe, for Ozzy. It's going to be cool. I'm a pup. And I'm super psyched about being a pup. Not a cat guy. Like me a pup. Anywho, please check us out here. And we're going to go ahead and raid my man Tall Squall. Go over there. He's doing a little Vice action. Everything I think this month is for the Michael J. Fox Foundation. So everybody, anything you can give there goes to Parkinson's research. It is fantastic. So I'm going to send you guys over there, rate him up, let him know where you came from, and see if you can't help him with a noble cause from one of the best guys in the biz. Until then, everybody, we'll be here in 1915 and 1933. Thanks to everyone in chat. Thank you to Katie. Thank you to Iz Reaver for helping out these beautiful people. Boons that have not been accounted for yet are marked down and will be. I'm biding my time, kids. I got something good coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Olympians of all ages, we will see you back in 1915 and 1933 in 2 weeks. Till then, kids, have a great one.